Welcome, weebs, gamers, and nerds alike. As anime has been getting more popular, there have been an influx of shows coming out, and with that, some fall through the cracks regardless of how good they are. So today we're going to go through modern anime through a multitude of different genres that don't receive the attention they deserve and should definitely be given a shot. Make sure to subscribe for more geek content, and let's get into it. First on the list we have Gangsta. This came out in a big season for darker, edgier shows with Overlord, Durarara, Charlotte, and Gate, so it makes sense this kinda got overlooked a little. The story takes place in the city of Ergastulum, which is a shady, vile-filled town with made men and petty thieves and cops on the take. There are deeds some people just will not touch. This is where you get the handyman, Nick and Warwick, the main characters, who take on the jobs no one else will handle, until the day when a cop they know on the force requests their help in taking down a new gang. The characters are all really likable, there's good action, and the story isn't too shabby either. It keeps you hooked from beginning to end. It's really sad this didn't get a second season, but if you really like mafia crime shows, this is definitely for you. Next on the list we have Jormungand. Trying to compete with Fate Zero is a tough task, which explains why this fell to the wayside, especially with how small anime was at the time. This follows a ruthless arms dealer on a quixotic quest for world peace, and a child soldier born into chaotic conflict. When their lives intertwine and they journey through the seedy underbelly of the world's arm market, it gets really intense. Jonathan, who's the MC of the show, has so many funny lines, especially with Lem and Nelson, that had me crying laughing. Not to mention the voice acting is especially really well done in the English dub, and this is one of the few times I will say the English dub is better than the sub. The action is usually pretty high stakes, and in my opinion had a pretty good wrap-up ending. It's only 2 seasons and 24 episodes, and just like the last show, if you like crime, mafia, gang type shows, give this one a watch.
えらく長く考えるな。たくさんだ。
Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury. Now this show was big and then it just kind of disappeared, and I'm not exactly sure why. This was the first Gundam show I had ever seen, and it made me just want to watch more and more. The story with big businesses ruling over everything and basically making decisions based off of profit, the struggle between peoples, and of course the giant mech battles, which are absolutely insane and gorgeous to look at. Now I could be wrong, and Gundam fans could 100% disagree, but I think this could be a good starting point if you want to try and get into this series, because the story is self-contained. There's 1 season and 24 episodes, and from beginning to end, it's an emotional roller coaster that you'll just want to finish.
止めてみせます。
Saga of Tanya the Evil. The show focuses on Tanya Degurachoff, who is a commander in the Imperial Army. Tanya used to be one of Japan's elite office workers, but because of a wrathful god, was reborn as a little girl. Tanya prioritizes optimization and career advancement above all, and she'll become the most dangerous entity among the Imperial Armory's sorcerers. This is an isekai, but unlike with most shows of this genre, the main character has an awful relationship with the god that brought them there, pretty much doing everything in spite of that god. And good lord is she ruthless. Like few other isekai characters, Ainz is one that comes to mind. This character is more of an anti-hero rather than a full-fledged hero, and will do whatever is necessary to get the job done. The MC keeps the show interesting, and another season is on the way eventually. So if you want a twist in your isekai list, pick this up and you could be pleasantly surprised.
Second Lieutenant Tanya Degurachoff. No matter how many enemy shells or bullets cloud the air, she flies high and without fear, like a fairy of the battlefield.
Next we got Tomodachi Game. I don't see the show talked about nearly enough, especially with how big the game show-esque stories have gotten, and with a similar show in Classroom of the Elite, which is a banger. Getting a lot of traction, this show should be talked about more. It's about a group of friends going into a game called the Tomodachi game, which is a service to help remove debt. And the only way to beat the Tomodachi game is to not doubt your friends. Bound together by solid friendships, the game should have been easy, but things go south fast, especially when money is involved. The biggest reason I love this show is because the MC Yuichi, who is practically the same as Ayane Koji from Classroom of the Elite. Both are 2 steps ahead of everyone else, smart, have silver tongues, are great strategists, and are just straight up cunning. So if you like Classroom of the Elite or you really like mystery shows with cunning main characters, give this show a watch immediately.
俺が手を変えることはねえよ。てめえだってどうせパワーを出すしかないだろうが。いや、俺はパワーは出さねえよ。は？パワーを出さないとしても出せるのはグーのみ。じゃんけん。
Next we have one of my favorites, your boy Conming. This is such a feel-good show that will have you just feeling happy inside. It follows a brilliant military strategist, Conming, from warring ancient China as he's transported to Japan's modern party hotspot in Shibuya City, Tokyo. After a lifetime of battles and military skirmishes, Conming wished with his last breath to be born in a world of peace and prosperity. It's nearly 2 millennia later, and he's finding the way in the world is very different than his past life. When he meets Aiko, an amateur musician with big dreams, the unlikely duo strikes up in an even unkindlier friendship. Aiko has street smarts, and Conming navigates the strange new world with his strategic mind to help Aiko achieve stardom. He uses actual military tactics to help Aiko gain popularity and show people just how talented she really is. He even has a rap battle against one of the best rappers in Japan. With a catchy banger of an opening and a heartwarming story, if you want something to just make you feel good and relax, definitely watch this show.
生は諸葛名は亮あざ名を孔明と申します相手捨てるほどの王に対しあなたは心ざしの重みを分かっていない戦場の
Next we got Dimension W. I almost never hear about this show, and honestly that's kind of fair, as I only found this show randomly scrolling through Crunchyroll one day and not knowing what to watch. But this is one of Christopher Sabat's better works. In the year 2071, the world's energy problems seem solved by a network of cross-dimensional electric field inductors that extract energy from a seemingly infinite source. That source is Dimension W. In the world, unofficial illegal coils harness powers that the police can't hope to counter. And this is where you get Repo Man Kyoma, who's run in with a unique coil android. Mira leads to 2 of them forming a reluctant partnership. It has good action, good animation, fun characters, and a plot that's surprisingly deeper than you'd expect. If you enjoy action sci-fi shows, this could be a really good watch for you. To round out this list, we have Made in Abyss. I know this one isn't extremely hidden, but the fact that few people touch on it, including content creators, is extremely surprising. It follows Riko as she attempts to descend into the Abyss, the last unexplored place on Earth. On the way, she finds a robot boy named Reg, who helps her get to the bottom. The thing that's really terrifying about this show is what happens when you try and go out of the abyss, things from dizziness and fatigue, all the way to death and losing your humanity, literally. This show has an amazing soundtrack, good animation, and it's downright terrifying and gut-wrenching. It keeps you on your toes, and you pray nothing bad happens to the main characters. There are 2 seasons and 2 movies so far, so if you want a good horror thriller mystery where you don't know what's going to happen next, this is about as good as it gets in the genre. That pretty much wraps up the list. With varying different genres of shows, hopefully you found something new to watch. What about you? What do you think about the anime I mentioned today? Make sure to let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.